guys, Jamie here and welcome to more tone chasing here on my YouTube channel. And today we are looking at the newly updated software for the 2 Notes Torpedo C.A.B M+, plus being the new software. Now for those of you that are unfamiliar with C.A.B M, C.A.B M is an Amp DI impulse response loader, and the idea is that you will put it between your amplifier and your speaker, so you can have a speaker cabinet on stage, still be playing as normal, but have a DI'd signal going to your PA or front of house using impulse responses. And of course you could use this in the studio as well. Another application, which is something that I've been using this pedal for quite a long time, is with preamp pedals. I love using preamp pedals either when I'm traveling to sessions or when I'm doing little gigs. It's much more portable. Most of the time we're always on in-ear monitors anyway these days, so just having a little preamp pedal and my impulse response loader and some stomp boxes or multi-effects just makes for a really nice little portable rig. The other great thing is that we've got an XLR and a 1/4-inch jack output, and so what I normally do is send the XLR out as my dry sound or my dry signal, and then I come from the 1/4-inch out into my effects, so a chorus or a delay, and then I come out of those in stereo 100% wet, so I have the beautiful portable wet dry wet setup. I'm a big fan of using wet dry wet, and this pedal really enables me to achieve that. One of the great things that I've loved about using C.A.B M with preamp pedals is the power amp emulation. So you can have different types of power amp valves and different types of power amps depending on the sound that you want to create. And if you're using Marshall style impulse responses, maybe you want to use EL34s, or if you're using Vox style EL84s, or if you're using Mesa Boogie style cabinets, then 6L6s. So a really versatile pedal. But those good people at 2 Notes have recognized the potential, or the further potential, should I say, of this pedal, and they have updated the software and introduced namely a clean preamp. So what this enables you to have is using C.A.B M basically as a clean amp. You've got your preamp, you've got your power amp, so preamp modeling and power amp modeling, and then your impulse response, and then you can use a variety of different stomp boxes in front of it. So your favorite overdrives, your favorite distortion pedals to give you your crunch or drive sound. We also have other effects in there, which we've seen in the new Captor X, namely the enhancer and a noise gate. We've also got a tuner as well. So this really makes for an incredibly portable, high quality setup. Now let's take a look at the updated software. Now before we look at the new user interface, you can access all of the parameters via the front of the C.A.B M unit itself, but it's just a lot easier to either plug it into your computer or to connect it via Bluetooth to your iPad and download the 2 Notes app, which the remote app, which enables you to graphically see everything. So you should be able to see my iPad display round about now. I've got my iPad in front of me just for ease of controlling it and playing the guitar. The layout of it, you can see my speaker cabinet up there in the top left. On the top right, we have the preset, where if I tap on that, you get a drop down where you can choose from Torpedo. And if I click the right button, you can see all the presets in there, or scroll down to user presets. I've got Jamie demo presets there that I made. We have the noise gate. I'm just going to demonstrate the noise gate. I'm going to turn on my overdrive pedal, my 5150, and just turn the guitar up, and we have some hiss, as you can hear. So I'm going to engage the gate, click learn, and there it's set the threshold for me. So there you go, nice and quiet. We have the preamp next to that, where we have the gain control, the treble, mid-range and bass controls, and then we have the power amp, where you can see I've got a push-pull 6L6 power amp valve selected. We have a volume control, we have contour, which is like a loudness control, and then we have depth, and the depth control is like a low-end sort of sub, bit of woof to the sound, and we can select between pentode and triode. I should also point out that we've got on the preamp either guitar or bass selection there. If I click on that, it's depending on what instrument you're plugging in. Next to the noise gate, got a little tuning fork. I can tune up my guitar, keep us in tune, which is great. Turn that off, and then underneath the preamp and the power amp, we have the EQ stage. We can set that between guitar, bass, and custom. We also have an enhancer. The enhancer is a really nice feature that is, you can also find that in Capture X, and you've got a wet and dry blend control. Again, we can select between guitar and bass. And then we have a body control, which is a compressor, really tighten your sound up. We've got a thickness control, which is a low-end enhancer. And we have the brilliance, which is the high-end, top-end. Underneath that, we have the reverb, where we can dial in between the amount of wet and dry, either a room or ambient settings. And also, if I click, you've got a selection of different reverbs, studios, basements, lofts, all manner of things. Over on the left at the bottom, you can see we have our miking. We have mic A and mic B, a little drop down where you can select the different types of microphone. And we have the level control, the axis, depending on where it is situated in the center or off center, and the distance. And we can also select if the microphone is on the rear of the speaker as well. Okay, now let's have a listen to the preamp. I'm using standard tuning. I was using an auto tuning, my E down to B and my A down to F sharp for the track that I composed for this demo, but we're back to standard now. I did use standard for the solo, I should point that out. Anyway. I'm using a 5150 or EVH style cab, 4x12 mic'd with a dynamic 57 and a ribbon 121. So let's turn the treble control up first of all on the preamp. A lot of range there with that control. The mid-range. And now the bass control. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn the EQ and the enhancer off. I forgot I had those on. So just one more time. So that's the preamp on its own. Let's just turn the power amp off and just listen to the preamp. Now if we turn on the power amp, I can select between different power amp tubes. So I'm on 6L6. Let's go to a single-ended 6L6. I'll swap between pentode and triode. That was the single-ended. Let's now have a listen to the push-pull 6L6. That's the depth control. So you can hear quite a lot of EQ possibilities and fine tuning that you can do within the power amp stage. Let's have a listen to some of the different power amp valves. Let's have a listen to EL34. Listen to an EL84. Obviously the sound is going to change greatly when you're using different cabinets. I would normally use an EL84 if I was, say, using an AC30 style cabinet to get that nice sort of chime, clean sound. KT88. That's going to be loud and big and lots of headroom, lots of clean sort of power amp headroom there with that one. Okay, so I've reselected my preset. Let's have a listen to the EQ. Turned off the enhancer. You can hear there's, it's a very powerful EQ. Let's have a listen to some of the top end. Okay, now onto the enhancer. Here we've got our body control. I'm going to turn everything off for the moment. So the body control. That tightens things up a little bit. Then let's have a listen to the thickness. Wow, that really does add something to the sound. And then the brilliance. So a lot of options there for you for selecting different types of tones and really dialing in your desired tone. Let's go to my first sound again. This was the using the Van Halen EVH style cabinet, and this was with a 6L6. Turn on my 5150. And you can hear how well it takes pedals. I think you'd be hard pushed in a recording situation to tell that I wasn't using an amplifier. It's incredibly realistic. Really helps having that the power amp section. Whilst we've got a high gain sound up, let me swap over to my third tone that I used for the demo track. This was using the 2x12 Marshall style cabinet and using the EL34, sorry, and a different reverb as well. I can increase the gain on the pedal. So it's amazing how many different sounds that I'm getting just by experimenting with essentially a very high gain pedal and different impulse responses and different settings on the preamp and different settings on the power amp. So we've gone from having, you know, very full-on metal or high gain sounds to having a, you know, old school sort of AC30 that's just starting to clip. Okay, so just to round things off, just to talk a little bit about the track that you heard at the front end. I wrote that track specifically for this demo. I wanted to see how well the C.A.B M Plus software would react to pedals, if I would get the same sort of feel as I would using an amplifier or maybe a slightly more elaborate modeling setup. And I was really surprised at how well C.A.B M Plus software takes pedals, the amount of separation that I get when I'm playing chords with high gain. And also that thud that you're getting from the power amp stage. So I used this setting, which was a EVH style cabinet, a 4x12 with a dynamic mic and a ribbon mic and just a little bit of room reverb on there, a 6L6 power amp. Then there was the other sound, which was the kind of clean ambient middle section. And for that, I was using the Vox style AC30. I didn't have the pedal on. That was all preamp that you heard then. That was just the clean preamp for those. And the final tone that I used for the track was the lead solo section. Once again, I had the 5150 engaged. I think I had pushed up a little bit more gain, not too much gain. There's a lot of gain in this pedal. And I was using the 2x12 Marshall style cabinet and the EL34 in the power amp stage. I wanted to get a little bit of sort of that high-end overtone. that kind of sizzle to the note, but I didn't want it to be overly bright. So I was really pleased actually with how well C.A.B M Plus took the pedals and how well it worked in a recording situation. I hope you've enjoyed this demo. If you already have C.A.B M, make sure you download the new software for it. And if you've not checked out C.A.B M, make sure you check this pedal out. It's a fantastic pedal, whether you're using it with an amplifier, whether you're using it with a preamp pedal, or now if you're just using it with your favorite overdrive or distortion pedal. Anyway, that's it from me, and please subscribe to my channel and check back regularly for more videos looking at all things tone and all things gear. Okay, bye for now.